All right, so injury report. 3 did not practice. That would be Alvin with the knee/ankle, Justin Reed with the knee, and Awesome Richard with the ankle. And then limited guys were Tully with the ankle, Devin, Neil with an ab thing, and then Chris Rumpf with the wrist. So that's our injury report. Other than that, we're ready to go.
Niels was something, he was limited from the start based of the game?
Yeah, just something coming out of the game. So he's just on a little maintenance.
Is there an advantage at all to, like, when you're the team on the winning side the first time around, is it an advantage or disadvantage the second time around and playing them, division round?
It's a great question. I think at the end of the day, it's getting back to neutral for both teams. Other games happen in between that. These games will play out different. That's how these are. We've played 2 games with Tampa. Both games obviously played out very different. These are 2 games against Carolina. It's not going to be the exact same style. They're going to play a little different. We're going to play a little different. And so that's the fun thing about these division games, I think, is you create so much familiarity. Inevitably things will play out a little bit different each time.
You're 2-2 since that game. Can you put your finger on a few reasons why you've been playing better over this recent stretch?
I think our guys are playing cleaner football. I think, just from an execution standpoint, playing better on first and second down, allowing yourself to play in better third downs. I think our defense obviously has created some turnovers, in those games and impactful turnovers. And we've done, for the most part, we protected the football in those games. And so, there's a lot of things that go into these games, but I think our guys are playing the right way. They're playing with effort, intensity. The finish and effort that's shown up the last few weeks have huge impact on these games. And I think those are things that you just can't take for granted.
I know you guys are, I think it's like 2-3 in your last 5 after a slow start. What would you kind of attribute the recent success to?
I think our guys we're just getting better. I think that's the whole focus of a season is you got to keep getting better. Whatever's happened in the past, you can't control that. Those are all factual things. Those wins, those losses, those are what they are. All you can focus on is what's moving forward. And so we're just trying to get better each and every week. And I think our guys are embracing that.
For the chance to play spoiler, does that matter to you guys at all, or do you, like, when you're looking at the progress you're making this season, does it hold weight to affect divisionally, or division race that as you possibly could?
Division games are always important. You're going to play these teams twice every year, at least twice, no matter what. And so there's going to be a lot of familiarity with us. We've faced them one time. We're going to face them in future years. And so, again, these will be impactful games. This is a good team that's had they've played some of the best teams in the league and beat some of them. And so they've played some really good football throughout this season. And so it'll be a challenge.
With Justin, it looked like he was able to do some side work stuff. What's kind of his progress been like?
Yeah, he was just with the trainers today, and so he was able to do some work with those guys as he continues to build back up, and we'll see how it plays out.
Going back to that, the kind of the spoiler question with the division, do you find yourself you have to, even if it's particular with this group, do you have to find yourself kind of like, hey, here's, since we don't have the playoffs in front of us, here are some things that maybe we want to accomplish this week, and maybe spoiling Tampa, spoiling Carolina. Do you have to find little things to kind of keep the guy motivated, like, hey, let's shoot for this week or something?
I think it comes down to your focus, where your focus is. Our focus can go a lot of different ways this time of year, and so I appreciate the way our guys have handled this. There's ultimately it's a collective focus of what we're trying to accomplish week in and week out, and we want to play meaningful December football, and we got to create those habits this year and moving forward. And so our guys collectively, individually, there's always things to play for. There's always opportunities. You only get so many opportunities to be out on that field, and the impact that can have on your career, your life. Certainly this team.
Is Tyler's confidence something that stood out to you when you were looking at him and met with him and brought him in here?
Yeah, I liked his confidence. I liked his energy. He's played a ton of football. He's got a lot of experience. Again, like we've kind of previously talked about, he's had highs and lows in football, and that's great because you're going to have to navigate those in the NFL.
And, does that play out in the hard downs and thrown into a tight window? How much of a factor is his confidence in just general? success?
Yeah, I think you got to have a little bit of like a go for it mentality, not in a reckless way, but I think you always want the quarterbacks to kind of be teetering on that edge of their confidence, their ability to just kind of go for it, not fall to a more passive controlled environment. I think especially in a game like that, you throw an interception in the second quarter. The rain obviously isn't the greatest environment to throw the football, and I thought as that game progressed, those big third down throws just shows the confidence he has and the willingness to just go for it.
One of the biggest knocks on Tyler coming out was that he was an older prospect, right?
Phillips playing at some point at 44 potentially, so I think we got a few more years. Sorry, saying Phillip Rivers is potentially playing at 44, so I guess Tyler's going to be okay.
Well, it was one of the criticisms of
Yeah.
prospect. He wasn't like 22.
Yeah.
So, was that something y'all cared about at all? And if not, why was it something you were just comfortable saying? Who cares?
Again, tons of experience, tons of exposure. You see you can go through a lot of historical references throughout all of college football going into the NFL, and guys have played a lot of football in college football, positively and challenging situations. Guys have played a bunch of years and a bunch of experience. Those are the guys that are able to handle it. And so, he hasn't played in, perfect environments where you win every game and you got, all these guys around you to kind of provide you with that. He's navigated a bunch of stuff. And so I thought that was great. And quarterbacks in this league, I think there's a maturing that goes much further than maybe other positions just because there's such a mental component of it. And you look at a lot of these quarterbacks that are playing as good as anyone in this league. A bunch of them are all in their 30s, and, Matthews late 30s, and, the Daks of the world and those guys are in their early 30s. They're still getting better.
So like the development portion of like a player at that position is, you would say, different than other ones where age doesn't necessarily factor.
Yeah, I think just there's a lot of guys that, you play for a long time in this league at quarterback position, and there's maturing that goes on throughout that. And so, obviously, I think it's just fine.
What's kind of your reaction to the Phillip Rivers news?
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I think it's awesome for Shane and Phillips to be back together. I think it'll be really cool to see, and obviously give them a little bit of a boost in the situation they're in.
Was seeing Tyler operate the quarterback position the way he did in college helpful in that regard? Because you hear a lot of guys coming into college and not necessarily ready to run an offense the way you have to at the NFL level.
I think that's why you invest so much time just getting to know these guys off the field, having a lot of classroom work with those guys, getting as many exposures as you can, just because there's a process-oriented element of playing quarterback that sometimes you can watch the film and watch throws. You can watch the physical component of it. You can watch, the success or the not success of a play, but to really dig into his process and where his mind's working, how his decision-making process works, I think that's a big part of it.
When you watch Tampa again, or went back and watched the film, what do you think got the run game going in the second half? Was it that Tyler run, or?
Yeah, I thought, it goes back to our defense, big interception, create some confidence on our team, some energy, and then we were able to run the football, pretty effectively there. And so, credit to those guys. It was physicality up front to get some, positive gains in there. And then obviously when you add the quarterback component of it, put some of their defenders in conflict.
Do you talk to Tyler about, okay, we're going to give you this option to run, but you need to be, conscious of what hits we're taking, that sort of thing, because he did seem to avoid any big hits.
I think he's got enough exposure to it over his college career. He kind of understands the game you got to play within that, and obviously quarterbacks got to be smart about that. Get all the yards you can, protect yourself. Most of the best quarterbacks that do use their legs in this league, I think a lot of them that have been able to sustain it for a number of years, they don't take the big shots. They do a good job protecting themselves, just because that's inevitably what the challenges are with that.
Obviously it's a different situation because you went straight into coaching, but do you think you could have come out of retirement 5 years in?
I got about 30 yards, so I don't know. Throw a bunch of checkdowns.
Yeah, this is not a science question, but today is like the 15th year anniversary of the Heisman Trophy with you, Cam. And
Jeez. 15, holy cow.
What do you kind of remember about that time and then the trip to New York and all that?
Yeah, it's cool. It was a cool experience. Cam won it. LaMichael and Andrew were there as well, and so it was cool. It's the first time a guy from Boise State had ever been to anything like that, and so it's cool to represent the school and kind of be a part of that moment. And so it was fun.
Does it feel like 15 years ago?
Yes and no. It doesn't feel like that long ago, so who knows?
What do you think of the haircut?
Back in the day, there was lack of haircuts, so that was college days. The hair coming out of the helmet was a popular thing there.
Just out of curiosity, I know you're rookies on the offensive side of the ball, but like since that Carolina game, I think y'all are keeping it comes to like less than 150 yards in the game through the air. Like, what is clicking in your opinion on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I think it's just tying everything together. Obviously, the run game, being a starting point, you allow yourself to, control the run game for the most part. We've done a good job of eliminating a lot of the explosive plays. I think our back end has just gotten better each and every week. And then the third downs, I think our guys have done just an excellent job. The group rush component of it, rushing together, creating pressure in the pocket, and our guys matching things out on the back end. And so credit to our guys, again, just of getting better each week.
And is there like a development component to that too, considering you have a first-year corner and a second-year corner and a fourth-year corner and a rookie safety? All those guys are going to get better.
Yeah, those guys are going to get better each week. I mean, you can watch these guys. I feel like they're around this building all day, every day, every single day. On Mondays, you just see Quincy in there right after a game, and he's working on stuff in the indoors. You're walking by, and so these guys just have a work ethic to get better. And the more those guys spend time together, the better they're going to get collectively.
What did you think of the way Carolina's kind of responded to your game since then? Beating the Rams, and Bryce had that bang against Atlanta, just with them.
Yeah, just a resilient team. They've done a really good job. Dave does, I think, a really good job of navigating the season for them. They have highs and lows, and that's what every team experiences in this league. And so, again, they've played some of the best in this league. The teams that certainly are going to be playing all the way through January, and they've beat some of those teams. And so they're doing a really good job. I think their ability to run the football, and then you throw on the Atlanta film, and you see, okay, their ability to throw the football. And so they've been able to play different styles, which I think is credit to the way they handle things and the ability that they have on offense and defense.
How's Kamara progressing with his recovery? Does he have a chance to play again this season at this point? I mean, obviously,
Yeah, obviously we haven't done IR, so we're shooting for that, and we'll just see how this thing progresses. You never want to throw timelines on things and make them concrete, and he's doing everything he can.